What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 3 Grayscale trusts today. We're going to be going over LTCN, BCHG, and ETCG. The first 2 are for Flower Child, and the last one is for Nefarious Piranha. You guys, I realized that last night's video was probably the best Grayscale video you've ever seen in your lives. I'm 100% aware of the situation. I tried to upload the real video today, and oddly enough, I could not find it, which means I didn't record it, even though I thought I did. I genuinely don't know what happened last night. I will chalk it up to sleep deprivation and lack of mindfulness as a resort. But enough talking, enough of that. We're making the video. We're rectifying the situation right now. We're going to talk about BCHG, LTCN, and ETCG. If you guys would like to see more of this content, hit that like button and subscribe. I very much appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you very much. Let's get started. I'm going to pause the music. So I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Try not to drone on for too much longer. But if I had proof of yesterday's video, I would have said that I think we are going up a little higher. Yes, that we will probably come up and find a lower high. For BCHG, I'm a little bit more optimistic that this could be a low versus LTCN, but we'll see. Time will tell. You bounced right off your 939 area. That really could be the low for BCHG. There's a couple of things that we have to do before that's confirmed, but at this point in time, it doesn't look too bad. Point number 1 that we'd have to do is we'd have to get a new high. We'd have to get a higher high, right? If we don't do that, if we just get a lower high here and then reject, even if it looks like that, or even if it's like kind of significantly lower in this like channel, whatever, that's not damning, but it's not encouraging. You want to get that higher high. When I say it's not damning, I mean that you could find a higher low or even a double bottom, right, and then bounce from there, and then you break out of this trend. It could just take the next attempt up. But under the current circumstances, with my opinion in mind, I would say that we probably are only going to move up to form a lower high. We could have found the high right here. Rejecting the 382 and moving down is a common enough thing to do. That could suffice for your next lower high. It really could. But if I really had to guess, I would think BCHG opens up next week to the upside. I think it goes up a little bit more, $14 to $15, somewhere in that range. Finds a lower high there, and then we move down. And we're going to do one of 2 things. We're either going to hold this area, or we're going to break into new territories to the downside, or I guess old and familiar territories to the downside. The next step, if we were to move lower, well, we don't have our high, do we? So maybe we can just use the same fib from this one here. The next step would be around $9 to $8, potentially $7 or lower. But I would say $9 to $8 would be the next step down. So if this isn't the low, on the bright side, we are very near the low. I think one more drive down is what we would have in store for us. And I don't think we'd go lower. If we went lower than $8, okay, probably by very trivial amounts. I doubt we'd go lower than $7. If we did, everything's okay. It's still fine. We absolutely could, see prices even down below $5. I just don't expect that personally. I think we are going to hold that $8 or high $7 area. But the next targets based off this fib here would be $9 to $8, just above $8, just below $9 actually. But I'm going to reiterate and say I think $14 to $15 is where we go next week, probably early next week to open up the week, and then we proceed moving lower. Sometime this month we will get our low, if that's not the low already. There is a solid possibility that that's the low. Just because I'm talking about going lower doesn't mean that that's not the low. That absolutely could be the low, but we would need to see more. And just because we get a lower high here and get a rejection, that does not damn this thing to a lower low. It would look nice if you want to see the price go lower, but there's still the possibility of forming a higher low or a double bottom or some kind of consolidation in this area and then moving higher later. But that's it, $14 to $15, and then probably down to $9 to $8. That's BCHG. That's my thoughts. LTCN is no different. After all, these charts look very similar, don't they? I think you're making your way up to a lower high in this kind of parallel channel that you have down, this flag, maybe whatever you want to call it. it'll probably be a lower high, and then again, this rejection won't condemn you to lower lows. It won't. What would condemn you to lower lows, in my opinion, would be just like BCHG. If you guys reject from here, if I'm wrong in the sense of we're going to go higher first and then lower, that would be condemning, right? This lower high here for both of these charts would be enough to damn you to lower prices, in my opinion. Low to high here, you didn't even hit your 1272, didn't even hit any of your expected extensions. That's actually a bullish thing, not a bearish thing. But rejecting your 618 is not a bullish thing. It puts the ball back in the bear's court here, saying, okay, you tried it here, didn't have enough momentum, came back to get some momentum. Now you've got that selling pressure. It's going to follow through. So hopefully you do continue higher. But even if you do, you're not out of the woods yet. So looking at this relative high to low now, different fib scale, there is the real potential to go to $35 to $36. So that's what I'm going to give it. That makes sense to me. If we draw a circle up here and we delete the fibs itself, you can see it would just look right with this this kind of trend that we've got going right here, right? Something like that. I don't know. Something in that area, maybe lower, I guess. Who knows? It doesn't have to be precise, but something in that line of fire would make sense to me. So $35 to $36 is where I think LTCN is going to go. And then from there, we probably do see a rejection, and I would anticipate lower lows. I would expect at a minimum, you guys, that, and did I do this? I think I did. Okay. At a minimum, I would expect LTCN to go to that $21 to $23 area. This right here going to $26. It's close, but it's not enough. It doesn't have to go lower. That's what I'm anticipating personally. And it absolutely could go lower than $21 to $23. That's like the minimum that I'm giving credit to, right? $25, I guess technically would be the minimum, but $21 to $23 is the area I'm looking at. You could go to $19. You could go below $17 even. Those targets are still on the table, but it all just depends on what we do from here. I would think that a rejection off the 618 like this would put you right down to this 1618. So $21.40 could be on the table right now, but that remains to be seen next week. Let's see what we do. Again, a straight rejection from here would definitely send you down. Whereas something like this and then a rejection up here, that gives you a little bit of hope that maybe this was your low. But time will tell. At this point in time, I do anticipate a higher move up, yet a lower high overall. And at this point, I'm just repeating myself. So I hope I got the message across. Hit that like button and subscribe if you feel like I did, and comment if you feel like I didn't. If I've left you with any questions, you can still hit the like and subscribe button, but definitely comment if there are some things I've made unclear. ETCG. Looking like it could have found its low as well, right? Possible. It's in an area that would make sense. Weekly RSI looks fine. Doesn't look terrible. I don't like the daily RSI. Let's look at ETC. It just says, it just says Ether Classic. Ethereum. It's not Ether. I mean, we call it Ether, but it's not Ether, man. That would be a mega troll of a scam coin. If someone just had Ether token, Ether coin, Ether, like they just call it Ether Classic, when really it's like a scam coin, because they can use that name because it's not actually taken. I don't know. You guys know how they do. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like that fib. Let's take another one. Come on now. Actually, we'll do this one. Screw it. It's not a bad look on ETC. I don't like the daily though. That is a bad look. Okay, so ETC probably does go lower. Not really respecting the 382. That's okay. You probably do see $20, if not at least $23 again, but probably $20 to $19. $20 to $19 on the mind. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So that could tell us that ETCG is going to go lower as well. Daily RSI looks not the best, but it would look like you come up a little bit next week to start off the week. It does look like you're in an area where you could bounce higher. You got 1264, maybe you go up like $2 to $14, $15, something like that. Maybe. You don't have to. I do like that for a bounce, though. I don't know. Okay, here's where it gets bad, right? So you've got this kind of like uptrend in your weekly. You've clearly broken that. Absolutely, you've broken that no matter how you want to draw it, whether it's with a straight line, whether it's with the curved line. Curved line fits pretty well. Straight line does too, like on this one, whatever. But either way, you've broken it, right? Even if it's like this, that's even kind of curved there, but you look like you've broken it, and you look like you just did that. So I would believe that ETCG is in the process of seeing a more it's at the very beginning of a consolidation phase, is what I'm going to say. And that could last for months, man. It could last for months. You consolidated at the top here. I'm talking about longer than this. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at the top. Then you started moving down. I'm talking about, and I mean, really, you're still here. Even 7, 8, 9 weeks later, you're still here. I'm talking about something that's like twice, 3 times, 4 times this size, right? Like it could be later this year that ETCG starts to move up again. I'm really curious to see what you do. You probably will go down to about $9 to your 382 line, this yellow line here. You'll probably go right to that area down here. You could bounce there and then form a lower high and then go lower. That is possible. I do want to be blunt and just say that prices below $6 are on the table for ETCG. Absolutely, they're on the table, but I do have strong hopes that you'll find support at that $9 to $9.30 area. You're probably just working your way down there. I wouldn't expect that it's going to be a quick dump down. I would expect that you methodically move your way down there. And then inevitably when you are down there, you're not just going to pump straight up. You're probably going to meander. You know, you might have an initial move like this, but then you'll move sideways for a while. And then another move, and then you're just really moving sideways, right? Right now, slow down, slow to the downside. Once you find your low, slow to the upside, very, very slow probably. And then that'll be, I don't know, my best guess, I suppose. So yeah, for ETCG, $9, $9.30 area is what I'd be looking for. Inevitably, over the weeks. It probably doesn't happen next week. I mean, the quicker the better. The quicker you get it out of the way, the better. But I would expect that it takes several weeks to get down to this area, and then several more weeks to flatten out, and then several more weeks to continue going higher, right? It'll be Q3, maybe even Q4 before you take out these highs. That's my thoughts on ETCG, but I could be wrong. That's a bold call. That's a lot of time away. The main thing that makes me think that is this break in the weekly RSI. That doesn't normally merit an immediate recovery. Like if it were, you wouldn't be below the 50. This is a pretty dramatic break here, so I don't know. Time will tell. Not really another example of this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I mean, I could be wrong, but I would think the thing that I'd be the most wrong about with ETCG right now would be not where the price is heading, but the time frame. You know, if I was to say what I would give the most likely chance of me being wrong about throughout this and this part of the analysis, I would say it's the time frame. Perhaps it's not as long, but inevitably I do believe we're going down to about $9. That's my genuine input. So if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. I very much do appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming here and finding your way to the channel. And yes, I hope this video answers anybody's questions from yesterday. So take care. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.